dirt roads to rock crawling, two-buck chuck to screaming eagle, moonshine to 50-year-old single malt. We talk about it all here on Wheelin' Wine and Whiskey with your hosts, Jason and Chris.
Welcome to Wheeling Wine and Whiskey Podcast, episode 216. I'm Chris, and I'm in my home studio. And as you probably guessed, Jason's not here today, so I'm not quite sure where he is right now. I know last I heard, he was up in the mountains doing a little house shopping, house hunting, tent hunting. I'm not quite sure what he's doing, but, he's doing his thing, and we're continuing to make the show happen. So instead of having, I've done this before, but instead of having you listen to me just talk to the wall on the monitor here, I called a friend, and I've got Rodney, JL Latte. Rodney's on the line. How you doing, Rodney?
Hey, Chris, doing well. How are things down in Livermore?
Things are good. The weather's great. It's, you and I are both in the golf industry, and it's like we're just living this blessed life right now with this blessed weather. It's just
we are. Yes. If Chris and I talk about the weather, it's talking about business. So
yeah. So, but it's also wheeling weather, and this is Wheeling Wine and Whiskey.
Absolutely.
So, have you been out and about doing any off-roading, any trail runs, or been working on your rig? Have you been getting any lattes out of the dash?
No, I'm, the latte machine's dry right now, but I'm pulling it out of storage. I just took the top off last week, just kind of cleaning it up. It sits in the barn over here, and, I actually took my skis out of it yesterday, so I haven't touched it since my last ski trip.
Ski season's over, man. It's wheeling season now.
It is. Not for Jason, though. He's still, if he finds a patch of snow along the side of the road, I think he'll pull over.
Jason, you want to defend yourself, Jason?
Hey, he's not here.
No.
Fair game.
So are there any resorts open still up in our neck of the woods or in our part of the Sierra? I know Mammoth is open, and he was just down there a little bit ago, but is Wow open? Is Heavenly open? Anything open?
I think they're open limited, like in the morning till noon or something, just on the weekends, or maybe a Friday, Saturday, Sunday deal.
And the snow turns.
Not sure how much longer that's going to last.
Yeah, but, obviously that's one of the beauties of living in California, Northern California, the foothills where you live, and having all these recreational opportunities. There you go. Recreational opportunities available to us, whether it's rock crawling, snowing, or skiing in the snow, mountain biking, hiking, whatever your desire is. That's the beauty of having this wonderful stuff in our backyard. So, but, wheeling trips, you got anything planned coming up you got the rig cleaned out and bring it out of mothballs? You gonna do anything like head up to Slick Rock or anything like that?
Well, I think my first outing is going to be our trail cleanup that I usually help you guys out with.
Well, that's right. The Adopt a Trail
so I think I'll go up Thursday evening and be there for Friday morning, Saturday, and we'll see what kind of mess the trail's in. But even if we can get out there, who knows?
I don't know if we're going to, I haven't heard any scouting reports to see if we're going to even be able to get to our preferred campsite at this point. I know that our club had their monthly meeting last week, and somebody was going to race up there and do a quick drive-by and see what was going on. Obviously, our fallback position is Black Springs Campground, which is a little bit further down the hill. But obviously our preferred location is Horse Gulch, which, puts us in kind of the middle of all those wonderful trails up there. But you're right. We absolutely don't know what we're going to be seeing up there. I mean, it's not, historically we've run into some snow on the backside above, the bear trap cabin. A couple miles up the hill when you crest and you start crossing down where you're looking over Bear Valley Ski Resort on that cliff up there. That area is in the shade a lot, and we've run into some serious snow. We've even talked about a Jeep Cherokee a Grand Cherokee that was stranded in the snow up there. Fortunately, the owners, drivers of the vehicle, passengers and whatnot were able to hike out and find help. But it was kind of when we came across that that vehicle, we were a little like, oh shit, hope there's not a body in there.
Yeah, usually about this time of the year, I'll head up to Bear River Reservoir. It's right above my house. Listener, I live up in Jackson, so I live right off of Highway 88, kind of in between
Right.
Pine Grove and Jackson. So I have easy access to some trails up here, and I usually go up and try to do Pardo.
Oh yeah, you've talked about that.
Yeah, I really want to get you guys out on Pardo, but it hasn't been maintained very well, I think, for the last couple years. But I know it's under snow. I don't even think you're getting the Bear River Reservoir.
Is Pardo does somebody have an adopt a trail on that, or is there a club that maintains it, or no?
Yes, it's the I want to say Amador County Crawlers.
Okay.
Either Amador, I think they're Amador County Crawlers or Jackson Crawlers. But
have you wheeled with him?
There's a local. I went to one of their meetings, but it was when I had my brand new JL, and I think they kind of saw me as a newbie, and
oh boy,
they have some pretty built rigs, and so. I've been working hard on mine, making it.
Well, yeah. I mean, JLs and JKs they're the bread and butter of the industry right now. I mean, it's like those things are a dime a dozen, and they're obviously heavily modifiable, and they're super well supported by the aftermarket. I mean, you look at, you can go and get Quadratech, you can, whatever your credit card can handle. I mean, you can make a phone call or click a couple of spots on the internet, and you can spend money quick and have, 1 ton of axles on your doorstep in a couple of weeks. You could have 40s, stickies and bead locks and all those great things that everybody seems to be touting right now on all their rigs. And it's all just pretty much bolt on, right? I mean, you get sliders and whatever.
What happened was, when I decided to, get into off-roading. I've raced motocross when I was young. I've had dirt bikes and just wanted to. When I moved up here, I had I was doing car shows with my Shelby, and that really wasn't fun. That wasn't me.
That car was badass, though, man.
It was badass, but you get up here and you're driving around on asphalt with loose rock. You've got deer crossing the road. You've got a sheer cliff on one side, a rock on the other. It was fun, but I'm having a hell of a lot more fun with a Jeep Rubicon. So when I purchased the Rubicon, it was brand new. The JL had just come out. It was just hitting the lot.
Oh yeah.
And so they didn't make anything for it. Nobody had bolt-on stuff yet for it. I waited on
the JK stuff didn't work.
No, totally new platform, the JL, and I was wanting to put a bumper on it, put a winch on it. It took 7 months to get a bumper.
What?
Chris, that's why I put a skid plate on the bottom as soon as one came out. And that's why I wheeled it stock for the first 2 years, because there wasn't any. It was hard to get parts.
Well, no, I remember, I mean, when you first took delivery of that thing, we were doing our Oktoberfest run. I think you hadn't had it for very long, and we were up there running Deer Valley, I guess, trail, and you were out there with minimal protection, and you didn't, you were sending it, man. I mean, you ended up with a little bit of dentage on your vehicle after that trip was over.
I think, I mean, it's been it has 30,000, just over 30,000 miles on it right now. And it's a 2018. And nearly all of those miles have been trail or getting to and from the trail or towing my camper to the trail.
Right.
It's done 4 trips to King of the Hammers. It's been down to Hollister a couple times.
Oh yeah, no.
And then adopted trails and Oktoberfest and everything. So yeah, it's a trail rig. When it goes in the garage, it doesn't come out until it hits a trail.
It's a trail rig, and it's your tow rig for your R-Pod camper, which that's a little pretty cool little vehicle or RV you've got for yourself.
It is. It's my whole goal when I got the Jeep was to drive it, wheel it, and drive it home. But now I'm kind of getting to the point where it's on 37s. It's still the stock axles. I'm basically still wheeling a stock Jeep.
Right. You're running.
I did a spring lift, and so that's TerraFlex. I did front and rear Poison Spider bumpers. I've got the rock sliders or Poison Spider. So it's armored underneath, and just power tank. I've done all the little stuff, radio mount and everything. So it's the basics to get you out on the trail and to have fun and really there's you and I go wheeling. You're not keeping up with Jason Green right now, so.
No, I can't.
He's in a whole nother world.
He's extreme wheeler 101 now, and he's living the buggy life, and that's fine. He can talk to the extreme stuff on the show. Yeah. And I'm the ordinary wheeler on the show, and I can kind of relate to a lot of our listeners, and of course our listener base is a little bit of everybody. We have the people that are interested in just the wine and the whiskey and our shenanigans and of course the camping, but we have listeners that are into the extreme off-road, the buggies, the four-wheel steer, and of course the Ultra 4 racing that we cover and whatnot. So that's what kind of makes our show so appealing to listeners. But yes, you and I do the ordinary wheeling, and I know last fall you and I ran up to Slick Rock and ran that trail just before the snow started falling, and it was a nice crisp fall morning, and we had a ball. I mean, it was just really it was a Saturday. The trail was pretty much deserted, and we did see some oncoming traffic. We ran into another group. We ran into Lee Lim and his gang. Yeah. Down near just above the river crossing, below the Slick Rock slab. But watching your rig go, and of course my rig, I'm pretty familiar with it. But I mean, that was my first time going through that new bypass section, or the reroute. And I will say that I did some smashing and banging and clanging through there. But I was really, when you make that sharp right turn to make that final descent, it's almost 180 degree turn. And I'm like, I'm a short wheelbase rig, and you're not. You're a 4-door, JL. I was kind of impressed at how much better turning radius your rig had than mine. I had to do a Austin Powers turn there, and you're just like whoop, right around. Yeah, and I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's a big rig. I'm running 1 3/4 spacers to get the wheels out far enough so I can get the clearance. I've cleared my inner fenders. I've got Artec, the metal inner fenders. Those help out a lot. I get a little bit of rubbing when I'm flexed out, but it does quite well. I'm really, really impressed with what Jeep did with this JL, with minor modifications. It's a Rubicon, so it's locked front and rear.
Yeah.
And I love it. Absolutely.
Any plans for tons?
Yes.
And 40s?
Yeah. So, so we were talking about that I tow my camper and then wheel, and then I tow it back. So when I get out there, I'll go down the bypass on Windshield 5 and come back up. But, I'd love to do the center section.
Oh, yeah. No, Fordyce you're talking about.
Yeah, at Fordyce, yes. And, but, I still have to tow my shit home.
Well, that's exactly right. And I mean, the year that I ran the trail, I think it was 2011. I did it on 33s from Windshield 5 all the way down to the committee crossing. And we hung out and had lunch, and then we turned around and drove all the way back up to Meadow Lake. And I'm sitting there, and I had towed with my Wrangler that trip I towed my little 8-foot Coleman pop-up tent trailer And I'm sitting here thinking, man, I got to tow home. I need to take care of this thing. But of course, peer pressure at base camp, got me to run the trail. And I mean, the trail back in 2011 was not bad. I mean, I literally drove up and down the gnarly not V notch or on Windshield 3. I just locked up when I was driving back up the trail. I hit the front and rear lockers and just drove right up it. It was easy. I mean, and of course now, as we all know, not anymore. So, but and that's the nature of off-roading. The trail changes from year to year, and what we saw on Fordyce last year will not be the same this year. And speaking of Fordyce, I know that it looks like Ozzy and his gang of marauders ran up. I don't know how far they went up Fordyce. It looks like they went across at least the first river crossing. I'm not sure if they went up to Committee and turned around and drove out that way or not, but looks like the trail looks like it's in pretty good shape. I'd like to get some feedback from Ozzy and see what he had to say. I'm not sure who else was in that group, but that's just, me lurking on Instagram to see what's happening out there. But like I said, it looks like the trails are starting to open up. And I was actually surprised at how low the water level was on the Fordyce Creek. I expected it to be raging, especially, with the melt happening right now.
Yeah. I wonder, why that is PG&E or someone maybe holding it back or something right now. But
I don't know. We'll hear some feedback, I'm sure.
Yeah. So, but back to the JL, I'd like to change it up a bit and start wheeling a little harder. That's kind of why I've been looking for a truck. I've kind of texted the group about looking for an F350 and F450,
You want to join the half-tag Lance Life. That's what you want to do.
If I can't join the Lance Life. You guys got that market cornered. I don't know.
Oh, there's more. There's always space for more. There's always space for more.
I don't have Chris money.
Chris doesn't have Chris money. It's funny we talk about that. I know you've been looking for a truck, and knowing you want to tow, the 4-door JK or JLs that are all built up. They're pretty heavy, and I know one of the things we talked about was you probably would be a dually would fit you well, just because if you do, get a cab over camper and you want to tow a trailer with your Jeep on it, you probably would want to have that extra towing or extra payload capacity of the dually. And having said all that, I actually, they're always listening, right? So as soon as you start doing searches on Google or if you're talking in your house and you have an Alexa and Amazon device, you start getting ads for things. Well, I was on Google. Google owns YouTube, and I got a link to a video for Big Truck, Big RV with, I don't know what the name of the host is that does that channel, but he was in Michigan up in Detroit with Ford doing, I guess, a preview on the new 2023 trucks that are coming out. And he test drove a 2023 Ford F450 Limited with a 30,000 pound trailer on the bumper,
really?
with a pintle hitch. And it's like, this truck is rated for that. Yeah. And I'm like, are you effing kidding me? I mean, so I'm like, and he shows the video of the interior of the truck, and it's like, this thing's plush as all hell. It's got a glass display. There's no analog gauges anymore. It's all digital touch panels and, massage seats, and the seat folds all the way flat so it can be a bed, and all this other stuff. And I'm like, well, shit, let me look on Ford's website and see what this truck costs. You want to take a guess?
125.
That's a little high, but
120. I've been building my own here.
106 to start for the freaking Ford F450 Limited. I mean, what
that's
the fuck?
To start. the reason why I say 125 is because that's to start.
It's nuts, dude. I mean, it's like I commented to the group. I'm like, who's buying these things anymore? I mean, it's like, you just on the base truck. I mean, the base Limited is loaded. Don't get me wrong. I mean, when you're adding options to it, it's like a gooseneck hitch or a fifth wheel hitch or vibrating nipple clamps or something. I don't know exactly what you're adding at that point because it's loaded. But the $106,000 truck, when I did the calculation for a payment with 10% down payment, blah, 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 was $1,800 a month for like 72 months. I'm just like, shit.
Yeah. They need to start getting a 20-year reverse mortgage or something on those things.
I know. It's nuts.
The average guy could afford it. No, so I've been in this search a little bit. So I get on Car Gurus. I find one down in Bakersfield. This thing looks pretty nice. It's a King Ranch, but I don't know.
A lot
the
of brown
King
leather
Ranch,
in those.
Yeah, a lot of brown leather. It's not for me, but I'm just looking for a tow rig, really.
Sure.
I don't really care what it looks like. I mean, yeah, I'd be comfortable and stuff. And so Kevin Jones, Ultra Ford Jones, I sent him the link. He looked at it, looked pretty nice. He put it out on his IG story.
I saw that. Yeah.
Anybody's in Bakersfield, I could use some help just going down and taking a look at this thing. And nobody responded to that. But Lee Lim, our buddy Lee with Solve Function, was on his way to Las Vegas. So
that dude drives everywhere, doesn't he? Does he know what a plane is? Has he ever been on an airplane?
I think he has a fear of heights or something. I don't know.
Probably.
So Lee, on his way back, he stopped in and we did a little video, Google Meet, and we went around the truck and looked at it. It looked pretty nice. Had a lot of chassis paint on it. So I did some research on it, and you just never know what you're going to find. So this thing was shipped to Texas, purchased in Louisiana, spent a lot of time between Louisiana and Texas.
So it's probably a hot shot truck.
Yeah, well, somehow got sold. And no, it wasn't hot shot because it didn't have enough miles on it.
Oh, okay.
Shipped to Ohio. And so it went up into the Rust Belt.
Yeah.
And then somehow made its way out to California. And so I passed on it. I looked at it pretty hard. The guy kept calling.
Looked like it had a little bit of an accident too, a little fender bender or something.
Yeah, I imagine. You get overconfident with a 4-wheel drive in the snow, and you might hit shit. So, or people hit you. So
right.
it had a little front end damage. Yeah, Lee and I looked at the tires, and the sipes were kind of worn on one side, a little worse than the other. So,
yeah, it's probably a good call. You bailed on that one.
Yeah, so it'll come around. But then Jason with Full Size, he responded to the story as well because I was posting it on IG, and thanking Lee and stuff. So he's looking for one. He wants the stability as well for towing on the long trips.
Lee.
No, Jason with Full
Jason
Size.
With Full Size. Okay, you
full
confused me for a second there.
So he's looking for one as well. So if I suppose as I'm in my search and I'm in no hurry, I'll forward a few of these on to him. I did.
Well, and our listeners, if you know of any desirable vehicles that Rodney or Jason might be interested in, of course, shout out and let us know. And
absolutely.
IG, what's your IG, Rodney?
R0 Muller, Muller.
Right on. Okay, so yeah, just give Rodney a heads up if you know of something, and maybe we can move this along for him.
Yeah,
I love helping other people spend their money.
Oh, I know, it's great, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's kind of our job, right, Chris? Being a golf course superintendent, we spend money like mad.
Oh fuck yeah, no, I know, right? My biggest expense right now is labor and water. So just as always.
Yeah, so. I don't pay for water. I'm doing a rotor change out on the fairways. That's going well. So yeah,
so
that's
not in layperson's term, a rotor is a sprinkler, big honking sprinklers that golf courses use. Yeah. To put it in terms for residential homeowner people, your little pop-up sprinkler puts out like a half a gallon per minute or something like that. Our sprinklers put out about 30 gallons per minute.
Yep. about
and shoot
60
60
to
feet.
65 to 70-foot throw. So
Exactly. Big
yeah,
dogs, big
I'm
dogs.
spending $12,000 a month just on sprinklers.
And for the listeners that haven't figured it out, Rodney took my old job, and he's getting all the perks and privileges of the facility that I was struggling at with getting money to spend, and he's getting the opportunity to spend money and make improvements. And my hat's off to you, Rodney. That's awesome.
Well, we have new owners, so
exactly. So
and it's good. It's good to be the king.
It's good. It's very good. Right on, man. Well, that's cool. So hopefully, that's our wheeling segment. So have you been, God, I know we kind of busted your chops a little bit last week with regards to your wonderful deck and the bushes around your deck. And is there any updates on your deck, on your pool deck?
Yeah, you guys were beating up on my deck.
Beating the deck.
Yeah. So kind of the framing is done, right? And it's just over 300 square feet.
Wow.
It's up against the pool.
That's a good sized deck.
It's not bad. Do you know the more that you beat on your deck, the bigger it gets?
I don't know.
I don't know if you need to clap that one out or not, but
no, it's all good, man. So you were pre-show. You were telling me that you're trying to figure out what you're going to put on that for deck material, the actual walking surface.
Yeah. So I go into Lowe's and I'm looking at Timber Tech and Trex, and man, that stuff just runs the gamut of expensive to more expensive.
So the synthetic materials or the blends, because Trex is a blend of plastic and organic wood, right? But I mean, a regular plastic, and then you mentioned you looked at a legit wood like cedar or something. Is the legit wood less expensive than the synthetics, or no?
It's come down a lot, but I think I just would rather have cedar. I mean, my decks around my house are cedar. I've seen, that plastic gets hot too.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I know,
so.
I know, I've got a couple test pieces that I keep out there on the deck when I'm out there working, and I'll lay the back of my hand on it, just like if it was your foot walking on it, and it's hotter than heck.
Yeah, that would you burn your piggies. Did you do a cost per square foot on between the different materials, or you just have a flat price?
No, I've just started. Just Friday, I dropped in on my way back from work and kind of priced out what it would cost for kind of your cheaper Trex deck, and it was still $4,000
for 300 square feet of Trex.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Nuts.
Wow. But I mean, I guess the good side of that is that shit doesn't break down and wear out. It lasts forever, right?
No, I don't think so. I've looked at houses out here. When we were buying this house 8 years ago, we found a really nice home that we put an offer in on, and it had Trex deck on the back, and it was just eaten up by the sun.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it needed replaced or recoated somehow.
That was like their big selling point, is like it lasts forever, or something to that effect. But
you know what? Nothing lasts forever.
Nothing ever lasts forever. Not even Jeeps. But apparently Toyotas do, but they still suck. So.
Oh my God! I sent Keith Ratzenberg. He was 4821.
Rats Racing.
Yeah, Rats Racing. So I texted him an IG post about an old Toyota just rusted away. But this thing, they were feeding water into the radiator, and this thing was running, and it's literally like in a jungle somewhere, and the motor's running, and the Toyota truck is just rusted completely away.
So the engine and driveline are fine or running,
engine and
there's
driveline were still running. There was no chassis left of or body of this.
So were they like running a pump with it or something, or was it driving?
I have no idea. It was just a short clip, and it funny. Oh my god!
Goddamn things never die.
I have owned a few Toyotas.
I have too. I owned it, and I know we've talked about it on the show. I owned a Toyota Celica, a 77 Toyota Celica GT that was, it was a good little car. I mean, it drove me back and forth from school and college and whatnot. But I mean, I lived in Connecticut and New England at the time, and that thing was rusted through.
Oh yeah.
I had to do some modifications to it to get it because back there, they do annual vehicle inspections, which a lot of states do. It wasn't an emissions. It was just a vehicle inspection to make sure, the suspension worked, the brakes worked, and, it had blinkers and headlights and shit like that. And one of the things, it was rusted through in the back wheel wells so much so that the exhaust fumes could get into the passenger area. So they wouldn't pass me until I sealed it up. So I got some sheet metal and I riveted the sheet metal and then I bondoed the shit out of it. It was janky as hell, but I went back and retested, and they're like, "Yeah, it's good." I'm like, "Right on." So,
no, my wife had a 4Runner. Well, first it was an FJ, one of the like a 2014 FJ, and loved that thing. That thing was great in the snow up here, and but then she wanted something a little more posh, but still 4-wheel drive. So we went to a limited 4Runner, and then we had that for she goes through cars like I change my underwear.
Duck.
She said she was going to be in the other room. So.
Oh, I was waiting for a shoe to hit you upside the head or something.
Well, that's
awesome.
So, and then she went to a Jeep Grand Cherokee Overland.
Oh yeah, Overland.
No, I prefer to say Overland.
Overland.
So I'm not an Overlander.
Is this? But they used to have the Orvis edition. They don't have that anymore, I guess. And it's just because that was like a deal with like remember how Ford had a deal with Eddie Bauer, and they had the Eddie Bauer trim level. Yeah. And then Jeep got the Orvis edition because I don't know what Orvis is, but I remember that. And then seems like all that other than I don't even know if Ford has the deal with Harley Davidson anymore. I don't think so.
I haven't seen anything. Just Ford.
Yeah.
No, I love the Grand Cherokee. That thing was badass. It had
those are really nice.
5.7 liter. It had paddle shifters. It had ride height adjustment.
Really?
Yeah.
I had a Grand Cherokee. I had none of that shit, but I mean, it was a limited too. But mine was what year was mine? 2001. And I loved that vehicle, but it started to have issues and I needed to get rid of it. And I actually traded it in to buy my Ram truck that I have now. So yeah.
Yeah.
Grand Cherokees are very nice vehicles. I'm not sure about the newest ones. They kind of look a little ugly on the front end. They look a little Durango-ish to me, and I'm not a fan of that look.
No, I agree.
So, all right. What else you got? I know, man, I've been doing a bunch of different, my wife's Jeep, she has a Cherokee, not a Grand Cherokee. And it's been having some issues, and it's a beautiful little car. It's small. It's I don't know what they call this stupid thing, but it's got, it's a limited. So it's got all the bells and whistles, heated seats, ventilated seats, air conditioning, and power, this giant moon roof. That's the whole length of the vehicle and whatever. But, it started making this clunking sound, a weird clunking sound. And she told me about it. We took it out for a drive. I'm like, yeah, that doesn't sound good. So we took it. We didn't want to take it to the dealer because Stone Ridge, I don't know if I should use that name, but fuck them. I'm going to bury them. They're terrible. They ripped us off before with some work, and they wouldn't back it. So anyway, we took it to a local shop here in town, and Machado's, and he did some diagnostics on it and just determined that the passenger front steering knuckle and ball joints were shot, and which is weird because the vehicle doesn't have that many miles on it. But like we talked about earlier in the show, this vehicle actually spent some time in Michigan. She bought it used. It was a couple of years old when she bought it, and the previous owner was based in Michigan, so Rust Belt. So I don't know what, potholes and shit in Detroit.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, $1,500 later, the vehicle's running like a top again. But I was like, damn. But the steering knuckle needed to be an OEM, dealer part or factory part, because there's no aftermarket for that. So,
well, they get you coming and going. I hate going to the dealer. I hated when I held my Shelby. I hated taking it in for a factory recall. I remember I had to go through that airbag deployment issue with a lot of vehicles had faulty airbags or something.
Is that the Takata airbag?
Yeah, I believe so. Mustangs had to go through that. So I just hate dropping my car off at those idiots at the dealership.
Well, every time I do that, I have this image of that scene from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. They're dropping the Ferrari off at the car lot. Do you guys speak English?
Well,
and they're just walking away, and the Ferrari's is going out, and they're taking a joyride for it. I would imagine a Shelby GT500 would be pretty desirable.
Yeah, it's I've had really one good dealer experience, and that was with Lodi, Jeep, Dodge, Ram over there off of Highway 99 and Kettleman Road.
Boy, you're thinking you're going to be an influencer and make that happen, or what?
No. Well, isn't that over where you picked up your trailer?
Actually, yeah. I guess I did drive by that dealer. So that's like Dealer Row, right?
Yeah, there's a Toyota dealer over there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I took so when it was stock, right? Listener, I'm wheeling this thing stock for the first 3 years under warranty. And actually coming up Windshield 5 at Fordyce, I got this service axle locker light blinking at me, right. Just as last day we're there before I hook up and tow home, I've got this axle locker thing going on. So we chased that thing down. They put me in a rental car. Every time I was there, I think I probably made 4 trips. First, it was the wiring harness. Next, it was another harness that connected to that. Then it was because you couldn't get the actual faulty part. They were producing so many JLs that they didn't just have the sensor inside the axle that tells the computer that you're locked.
You're in 4-wheel drive and locked.
Yes. And so you had to get the whole axle housing from Dana. And so they put a whole new axle in that thing.
Wow. So the problem's been resolved. It hasn't returned or recurred or anything like that.
No, it came back on just yesterday when I pulled it out.
No.
Was going through the drive-through, just out, taking it out, getting it washed and bringing it back. And
seriously?
Yes.
Well, it's time for 1 tons.
Well, I'd love to, but
hashtag Rodney money. Just make it happen. Boom. No,
not yet.
Dynatrack or Curry or East Coast Gear Works or.
Well, I do have kind of a dealership. I kind of get my parts at dealer cost. So from Meyer Distributing. So I do have access to Dana axles. So
the factory the factory Dana 60s. Those are
Dana
sexy.
60.
We've seen those on display at SEMA show, and
Yeah.
it's like it's so funny because they put in the Jeep booth or the Chrysler whatever booth at SEMA, they'll have the Dana, they'll set these up next to the factory axles, the Dana 44s and the Dana 30. And it's like, you see these puny little axles and then these giant Dana 60s. I mean, it's crazy. And then of course, Dynatrac has their Dana 70s and 80s that you can buy. And I know I don't know a lot of people, but I see a lot of people that drive on the IG and whatnot, that because the JKs and JLs are so heavy and they load them up with their refrigerators and their kids and their dogs and their rooftop tent and their things, whatever. And of course they're 42 stickies and they end up breaking axles even on 60s. So their Dynatrac stepped up to the lick log and offered Dana 70s and 80s that are bolt into these vehicles, and they accept the factory ABS and all that stuff. So like I said, the aftermarket has definitely stepped up to the newest stuff, and they love all the new things. And I'm hoping to make it down to SEMA this year with Wheeling Wine and Whiskey and check out all the latest and greatest, because I know the Ranger, and of course the Ranger Raptor, everybody's got this is certainly the topic of conversation. And I've seen, actually now I saw another yesterday when I left work, I got stuck behind, or I was behind a Ford Bronco Raptor. That's the second one I've seen. I'm like,
oh yeah.
And I was sitting in the traffic light and I'm like, shit, those fender flares are freaking huge. And I saw the Raptor logo. I'm like, oh boy, here, what do those things cost? They're like $100,000 or what? I mean,
well, even beyond that, did you see the limited, it was on IG the other day, the Bronco, it's race ready. It's $300K.
Oh, that's well, not Von Gittens, but Lauren Healy's rig.
Yeah.
He's selling, I mean, because he gets a new rig every year from Ford or whoever builds them. But I mean, so he's $350,000. You got a race ready. Obviously, it's not factory.
You got to be on the list to get that, right?
I don't
They're not going to sell it to Chris.
Sure, why not? I got my check will bounce, but I'll write a check. Rubber check. Yeah, Lauren Healy. I mean, I saw that and I'm like, shit, $350,000 and 700 whoop house. I mean, that thing was built, and
just badass.
And so, yeah, I don't know, man. The world's gotten a little bonkers, but everybody's in love with racing and whatnot. So, yeah, cool. So yeah, my wife's rig is fixed. And then today, this is kind of a funny story. I'm off today and tomorrow. So I, decided it's time to change the fuel filter in my Ram, and it's an easy job to do. You just have to, relieve the pressure in the fuel system, and then because it's a diesel, and then you use a wrench and you go in. It's in the engine compartment. It should take 10 minutes. It took me about 30 minutes today because I put it all back. I got the filter out. The filter wouldn't come out. I don't know what the hell is going on. I had to pry it out with a screwdriver, and it finally popped out. Put the new filter in, and there's an O-ring you have to change on the filter housing. I put the new O-ring on, and I think I made a mistake or didn't check it well enough when I set the O-ring on there. I might have gotten it not seated all the way in its groove. Anyway, I screwed the top back on. I tightened it down, and then you got to prime the system back up, and you have to cycle the key a couple times. You hear the fuel pump, the lift pump, cycle up, pressurize, refill the fuel filter housing and whatnot. And I'm like, cool. I hear it, and I finally crank it, and it starts right up. I'm like, well, that doesn't sound quite right. And I get out and I do a visual, and I'm this fucking diesel fuel pouring out the bottom. I'm like, what the fuck? So I shut it down, and I had to start all over again. And I was like, I started unscrewing the lid, and I saw the O-ring pop, kind of, warting out or whatever. It wasn't right. I'm like, shit, I think I fucked up my O-ring. So anyway, I pulled it out and reset it, and it didn't get ripped. I inspected it closely. I'm like, damn, that was weird. So I put it back in, tightened everything back down, made sure it was on there correctly. And then when I tightened the lid back on, it felt better this time. And then I started it back up, and everything was fine. No leaks anymore. But that was weird. I've changed that filter freaking 12 times maybe since I've owned the truck, and this is the first time I've screwed it up. I don't know if that's a sign of age or what.
Second chance Lance always scores.
Second chance. Well, thanks for that, Rodney.
That's a golf term for everybody out there. When you miss that first putt and then you hit that second putt, it always goes in. So
that's right. Now, hey, speaking of golf, I was in my maintenance yard the other day, which is on the 12th hole. And it's this kind of a scary spot because it's a par 3. On the 12th is a par 3. And I was standing there talking to the Kubota mechanic. It was the Yamaha mechanic. He was working on our beverage cart. And I got hit by a golf ball. First time in probably 2 decades I got drilled by a golf ball.
Really?
Yeah, hit my freaking hit my right bicep and then ricocheted off of my chest. And I was like, the Yamaha mechanic was like, dude, you all right? And I'm like, because it ricocheted and almost hit him. I'm like, fuck, that hurt. It's like,
oh, my arm.
Oh, it's broke.
It's broken.
I mean, it deflected off of one of the shipping containers that we use for storage in our maintenance yard. But fuck, I haven't been hit by a golf ball in a long time, and that hurt. It was like, man, it came out of nowhere.
I've been hit one time, and I got cracked right in the jaw with a drive. Oh my God. I was, 5 inches from being either blind or deaf or dead, not being able to eat again.
Yeah. I mean, you hit your temple, you could be dead. I mean, man, that's close. I've never been hit in the head, but man, yeah, I mean, that's the risk we run working around on a golf course. And, I mean, we're all really experienced and well-trained. I mean, we're out on the golf course. We're paying attention to where people are to the best of our ability. And man, you're standing in the maintenance yard and there's big Deodora cedar trees that are blocking the shot from the 12th tee. And I'm thinking, no ball will get through that. Well, yeah, it did.
Yeah. But they say trees are 90% air, right?
That's totally true. So, so we talked about you buying a new truck, prices. Yeah, crazy. Hey, Prairie City. I know you watched some of the races. Did you watch? Was it being streamed live on Facebook or something?
I was too busy to watch it live. I did not. I just been keeping up with people on the IG. We got Andy out there taking photos.
That's right. Wonderful. Andy Carnitas, our photographer.
Oh my gosh. He does such a great job. I just have to give that guy props every time.
Absolutely. And I mean, I know that Shannon Campbell tried to kill him a couple of years last year, but then he was able to dodge that bullet. He's spry. He's very spry and able to move quick.
Yeah. He's not too much younger than we are.
Well, survival is, a good instinct to have.
Survival of the fittest. Yeah. He's taken a few, he gets behind that K-rail and gets some really good shots.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I'm looking forward to seeing he usually does a dump and gives us access to it. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. Yeah. I do have results. One of the things I did before we went on the air is I looked up the results for the race, and I've got results. We don't need to go into everything. There's a lot of classes. There was a whole lot of racing. I didn't make it out there, unfortunately, and I had to work yesterday. And I thought you had made it, but apparently you didn't.
It's pretty local for me, but it's about 45 minutes from my house. But I did not make the race.
I would have loved to. It looked like there was some great racing, and some people we know were podium finishers, which is super awesome. So let's go through some results for our listeners here. So
let's do it.
Let's talk about the 4,500 class. That's the modified. Modified class. And there was, let's see here, it looks like 5 entries in that category. So we can go through all the winners, and we'll go from 5th to 1st here. We had Sean McBride was in 5th place in a Toyota. And then guess who was in 4th place?
Who?
Megan Miller in her Jeep.
Yeah.
In the 4,500 class. She was racing. Wait, what's going on here? No, that's not right. This is combined. I didn't think she raced in the 4,500. And then Jesse Balter was in third place, and then Steve Crawford from Paso was in second place, and then Justin Hall, our good friend Justin Hall, was in first place. He's out of Morgan Hill down here near just south of San Jose. So good, congratulations, Justin, on your first place podium finish for the 4,500 class at Prairie City in round 3 for the NorCal Rock Races. That's super cool. And then let's move into the 4,600 class, which is the pro stock, or the, basically stock class. You've got, there's only 4 entries here, actually, or 4 finishers. So you got Chris Menely in a Toyota. I hope I pronounced his name right, out of Chico. And then you've got Callan Myers out of Paradise in third place. And then you've got John Snell out of Riverside, California in second place. And then here we go again. Megan Miller, first place, podium finish in her Jeep. Good. Congratulations, Megan. That's super awesome. You're killing it. That woman, she's super awesome. She's all in. She and her husband, Derek, and their family are all in on this thing. I know Derek, he disassembled his Sequoia and sent it off to the wrecking yard, and they're all in with Megan in her Jeep, and that's super cool. I love Megan and her enthusiasm and the energy she brings to the racetrack. That's awesome.
It's a great story, isn't it?
It is. Absolutely it is. I mean, she's super cool and very approachable. If you see her on the, in the pits or in the camping areas, you go up and say hi. She's super cool. So,
right. And then hit her up on IG too. I kind of, comment on her stories and stuff in IG, and she's always responsive. And, so yeah.
Megan it count. That's right. Megan Miller. So,
right.
4,800 class, quite a few more entries in that. So we'll just do the top 5. We've got James Hubbard out of Orangevale in 5th place. Then we've got Jacob Pacheco out of San Martin, which is just south of San Jose, in 4th place. And then out of Garden Valley, California, you got Brad Mulliken. And second place, Nick Allegri. I've never heard of Nick Allegri, out of Scotts Valley. And then Chuck Crossland sitting on first place and from out of Los Molinos. Good job, Chuck. That's awesome. Yeah. Congratulations to all of our winners and placers in the 4,800 class for the NorCal Rock Races at Prairie City, round 3. And let's see. And then, of course, the big dogs, the 4,400 class. And one of the things I noticed when I was looking at the results here is some big names are missing. I didn't see the Gomez family here anywhere. It doesn't sound like they showed up. I don't know if they're still working on their equipment from the Visions race that happened a week or 2 ago, or what's going on there. But anyway, that's so we have some names. 5th place, Edwin Abd out of Santa Maria in 5th place in car number 4475. Then a local guy in 4th place, Cody Addington. We've had he's a good guy out of Forest Hill. Congratulations, Cody. And then 3rd place, you have Mark Nicholson out of Grass Valley, another foothills guy. Out of Colfax, you got James Mahoney in 2nd place. And then in 1st place out of Nevada City is Brendan Thompson. So congratulations to all the winners and placers in the NorCal Rock Races, the final race or final series of races for the Prairie City operation, which is super cool. Very, very, I like that place. That's not too far away from us. It's you can see almost the entire track from the stands, and it's great participation. And the weather this last weekend, if we had all made it there, would have been was fantastic. Not too hot, not too cold.
All 3 races they had fantastic weather, right?
Oh, I'm telling you, yeah, no doubt. So, I mean, I know we were there last year and it was freaking hot.
Yes.
So, anyway, congratulations to all the people from the latest series of races at NorCal. I know we talked about Visions last week on the show, and so
yeah,
I'm not sure what's next.
With who wasn't there is Justin Wicks because of their fire. But Justin is out hitting up these motorcycle races.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
And oh my gosh, if you can, he just posted a little bit ago about passing these riders on this hill, and oh my gosh, he's just dodging people full throttle. He is a racer at heart, right?
He's got mad skills, man. He's
He
a
does.
great dude too. I mean, he's just super energetic and yeah, absolutely. He's been just killing it out there. And I know that when they were down in Johnson Valley and pre-running and all that stuff, and Kevin Jones was there with him and was like getting all gassed out. It's like, it's like, this is Kevin, you can't keep up with these 20 somethings anymore, man. We're getting older and but he wants to try, but that's super cool for Justin. And yeah, we certainly, some big names were missing from Prairie City, the Gomez's and of course the Wicks family racing. And that answer to that question is to, I mean, we all knew why, but even Ozzy, Justin Cooey was off running Fort Ice with his buddies and so forth and so on. So yeah, some notably missing from the last race at Prairie City this year. So
yeah, if they're not racing, they're doing something else in the motorsports. So
absolutely, no, that's the lifestyle, right?
That's great.
Yeehaw. Let's see here. Jeep rank. I know this will get Jason all fired up because he's moved on, but I worked on my Wrangler today, kind of getting it ready for smog. I'm going to take it in tomorrow morning and get it smogged. This is the every other year thing. So, but I'm, I know 2 years ago I failed smog because I had to, my catalytic converter had gotten all clogged up because we spent a lot of time idling and going slow. Right. So, it's a brand new cat in there. I'm hoping I don't have any issues tomorrow passing smog. But before I go into the test center, I'm going to take it on the freeway, which is going to be terrifying. Or maybe I'll just take it down Mines Road. But reconnected the sway bar, tightened up the track bar, aired up the tires to 35 PSI because they were still aired down from safety clinic, and unloaded some weight from it because it has spare parts and fluids and all the tie downs and winching recovery gear and whatever. Right. So probably unloaded 200 pounds of stuff out of the back of it. So, but yeah, tomorrow's smog day. So everybody wish me luck on that. And, hopefully it passes with flying colors. Seems like California's it's got this has declared all out war on older vehicles, especially, what I'm categorized, even though this thing on the sniffer, it passes with flying colors when the cat's good. They call these things gross polluters. And it's so frustrating that, they just want to
Chris, have you ever been called a gross polluter before?
Well, yeah, sometimes after I eat beans. So,
I don't have to deal with that.
I know.
I live in I'm lucky here, right? So I live in one of the 3 counties in California that you do not have to. You only have to smog one time.
Oh yeah, when you buy it or when you sell it, right?
When you buy it or sell it, yeah. If you own it, you're good. So I brought an '89 F-150 from Kansas.
Kansas.
It has been in the family. I drove it off the lot. Drove it up from Kansas out here with my daughter, back in Kansas, you just cut the catalytic converters off. When you straight pipe it. Yeah. Perfect. So this thing had both cats cut off.
They only have 50,000 people living in Kansas too. So,
well, yeah, but they have the nicest roads. I guarantee it.
Well, anything's better than California.
But yeah, I had to get this thing smog legal in California with no cats on it. So it took about $1,000, but I got the cats put on. I did an EGR valve and a gas cap. And I think I only had to go back 2 times to get resmogged and passed.
Wow. No, I mean that's That's awesome. So this, you said it's an F-150?
Yeah, it's an 89 brick nose F-150. It's got 96,000 miles on it, all original.
Wow.
It was mine and my father's truck.
Can you tow the Jeep with that?
No, it goes to the lumberyard
to pick up $4,000 worth of tracks.
Pick up $4,000 worth of Trex deck. That's about it.
We're going to talk about your deck again. No. We've beaten that one to
we beat that deck to death.
Shit. Perfect. Well, I'm looking forward to the wheeling season, man. I mean, I know the snow is melting fast. We're going to be up in the mountains here in a couple of weeks doing our Adopt-A Trail. That's going to be super awesome. At some point, Jason will surface from wherever he is. Hopefully he's bought a house by now, and he'll have a place to live. Otherwise, we'll have to find otherwise we'll be recording from under a bridge in a cardboard box, Yeah. I'm not sure how the sound will be for that with people walking by that. Hey man, you got any meth? Can you sell me some meth?
That's methed up.
That's methed up, man. Hey man, we're recording. We don't have time for you to talk about meth. Anyway, yeehaw. Hey, Jason, shit. Rodney, how do people get a hold of you? They want to send you a DM or anything?
Just R0 Muller. It's actually R0 Muller on the IG, and that's it. That's all you can do.
You're not going to give out your cell phone number?
I have no 1-800 number. It will not happen.
1-800 good time, and let's talk about decks.
I like my privacy. You can DM me, and that's it.
Yeehaw. All right. Well, this is Chris from Wheeling Wine and Whiskey. You can reach me. You can email me at chris@wheelingwineandwhiskey.com. You can also email Jason at jason@wheelingwineandwhiskey.com. Don't forget about our IG. It's at wheelingwineandwhiskey.com. And of course, I have my IG, which is www.chrism, which I don't get too much. I don't do too much on that right now. It's kind of a dead duck. But if you want to DM me, that's where you can catch me. You also can catch us on our voicemail line. It's a Google phone number, 408-800-5169. That's 408-800-5169, and leave a voice message, and it'll most likely get played on the air. Also, never ever forget about our website, which is wheelingwineandwhiskey.com, where you can catch all of our old episodes, or not old, I hate saying that, our past episodes. And of course, links to our merch and the Element fire extinguisher. If you don't have an Element, you really should. It's great protection in case bad things happen when you're on the trail or in your camper or in your home.
What about Lorenzo?
What about him?
I've emailed Lorenzo before.
Oh yeah, he ignores his email. He hates people.
No, he emails me back.
Does he?
Yeah.
Oh well, I don't know. He controls his own destiny. I mean, he's working like an ass trying to get his pilot's license back so he can steal my credit card and fly again.
Yeah, you gotta watch that guy.
Rodney, thanks for taking time out of your evening to join me on the show. That's super cool.
Thank you, Chris. I really appreciate it.
You're a friend of the show. You're always welcome. And you have any last comments?
No, none.
Right on. Well, on that note, we're out.